Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Blueprint for Success. My name is Jocelyn Charles. I am your host for tonight, and I have with me my good girlfriend, Miss Brady Robinson. And so you are tuning in to Build Your Best Life Blueprint for Success. And the topic for this evening is mothers raising sons. I am a mother. I have two children. I have a son as well. And so he's a young adult at this time. So I've gone through a lot of different experiences. But guess what, you guys? So is Brady. Brady is like right behind me on my heels when it comes to raising a son. And so we've been able to lean on each other and see each other through different seasons. We've seen each other at different highs and lows in life, and we've been able to remain good friends. So I am just so grateful for that. Brady, welcome back to Blueprint for Success. I'm so grateful to have you with us this evening. Thank you for joining. I want you to please share with everyone what's happening with you and your Blueprint for Success.
Okay, thank you. What an awesome welcome. Thank you, Jocelyn. I thought this was a great night. And I mean, this was a perfect pair, don't you think, for us two to be on here? So this is great because we definitely have some history and just, like you said, experience and been there for each other in the highs and lows. So excited about tonight's conversation. For me, what have I been doing? I've been in the trenches with raising kids, life, just doing life, serving in my church, strengthening my business, trying to put my best foot forward with my job. The best way for me to describe it is just trying to keep all balls in the air. So that's what I've been doing, just trying to make sure I hit every area of my life and just be as effective as I can be so I can build the best life possible for me and these children.
Absolutely. It is no one wrote the manual on, first of all, how to be a parent. But then you and I have had the experience and ended up in a situation where we're single parents.
Mhm.
So tell me, I'm going a little off script, but I just have to ask, how do you deal with the pressures and the stress as a single parent? We know how to relate to our girls, but in particularly raising sons, how do you deal with that juggle as a mom?
The For one, just trying to be careful of what I absorb and what and what I see and what I think, what I know is right, and what versus what is just easy. Because a lot of times I see easy, and it's, of course, I'm tired. I'm this. So just trying to keep it in perspective of making sure I do the right thing at the end of the day. Because I feel like at this point, you only get one chance, right? So I got to make the best decisions. But a lot of times you want to take the easy route and, like, for example, not check the homework, or don't feel like, being there early for practice or things like that. So for me, I have to choose what is right versus easy, because sometimes the plate is so heavy, or the load can be so heavy, you want to tend to go easy, and easy is not always good, because in the long run, the consequences or the result of taking the easy route, easy usually folds a lot faster, or you have to, do some extra work. You're creating more work for yourself. So trying to do what's right versus easy.
That is so important. It is so easy. It's so easy to do the easy stuff, to take
Right.
the
It's
easy
tempting.
route, and like, you know what, and we lie to ourselves sometimes and feel like, okay, I can't do no more with this. I've done enough. What else does the world want from me? I've done all I can.
Hmm.
And but we have to realize that this is just for a season.
Right.
When our children are in the adolescent years, their teenage years, they're not going to be there forever. It will get easier. So we just have to hold on a little bit longer. So, speaking of those pressures, what are the unseen pressures that moms face with raising sons without a male role model?
This is a good question. I have just a couple nuggets that I want to drop. I did a lot of kind of just soul searching on this one and just thinking about. I wanted an authentic and honest response, and I was just thinking some of the unseen pressures that moms face. Okay, so raising without the male role model, so single mom or what have you. I think that's, for me, sometimes we feel. that we have to be both nurturing and the disciplinarian, both emotionally supportive and a model of masculinity. And that's unrealistic, actually. It's unrealistic and exhausting. It's a very exhausting expectation. And society can be quick to blame single mothers for the issues of boys, reinforcing the guilt and self doubt. So it's like a vicious cycle, right? You think you're doing so good here, you're doing this, but you, like I said, you have to be careful with doing what's right and things like that. So that's one of the unseen pressures that I've, kind of taken note of. Another one is like sons of single mothers are often unfairly stereotyped. So let's talk about it. They're unfairly stereotyped of being at higher risk of behavioral problems or failure or in the system or just not in church or not knowing God, not being good stewards of their money. It's just so many things, and they quick to, kind of stereotype that. That adds invisible weight to the mom's parenting plate, right? So that how you think that makes us feel? Moms may feel pressure to prove society wrong. That leads to burnout. So, so like trying to prove it wrong and no, not on my watch, things like that, it can lead to burnout, which that was truly an unseen pressure for me, exhausting myself trying to just drive myself ragged to do this. And then the last thing that I had for that one, an unseen pressure that we may face is finding safe and consistent male involvement. Ooh, that can be a strong pressure as well because consistent is the key word in that. So because your seasons change, your tribe change, your village change, your community change, but the consistent and safe male involvement.
That is so good. I can relate to everything that you shared in your response. Um, we weren't made to play the masculine role, by design. We're feminine beings created by God, right? But
Right.
when that father figure isn't present, we do have to step up and do some things that we weren't necessarily designed to do. We've seen through generations and generations, how mothers may have to carry the weight and bear all. And so we just mimic what we've seen before
Yeah.
us or what we've seen one of our peers or counterparts just because of their experience. And I like when you said that because of the stereotypes, the negative stereotypes. I was that mother who made sure my son stayed busy because I didn't want him to be a statistic. I
Mhm.
kept him in this event and I kept him in that activity, and it felt like I was doing the right thing.
Mhm.
But I think we both crashed at
Right.
one point.
You
We
run yourself
both were
ragged.
just like, woo, I'm tired. And, it's just like throw the towel up in the air. And then that leads to another set of problems down the line. But it is so easy, it's easy to get to burnout. And I find it really hard for single moms, especially moms, particularly of sons, to find, I'm not going to even say balance. I want to say harmony. And when it comes to making sure we don't lead to that burnout, to
Yep.
making sure that we're not overcompensating for that father figure not being present. And I know I made errors in the past. I was overcompensating, trying to make sure my child didn't fall through the gaps. And it was good while it was good, but when we both hit burnout,
Yeah.
we crashed hard. And so I'm like in a period of my life where I'm picking myself up from that season, but it was, um, I had to learn on the back end, and I hate that that was my experience. But for moms like you, like we're good friends, you are able to see what I, my heart was in the right place,
Right,
but you're
right,
able
right.
to pick up and say, you know what, I see where I need to make certain adjustments so I don't hit the crash and burnout phase.
Right,
That's
right. That's true. That's true. And thank God for community, and thank God for friendships, and just a little backstories for our audience. That's how. Remember, that's how I really got close to you, because just my admiration for Damien. So hey, I love him. He's a great kid. So I was like, how do you do it? So that's we just kind of we were kindred spirits in in that aspect and just was able to glean into each other, I was definitely able to learn so much during that time. Seasons are great. So yeah, we watched it and help each other, but you don't know what to do. Even if you would have prepared me for every single little thing, it's still things that's happening that we both like, what? So
Yeah, make you sit back and just wipe your brow like, oh my goodness. It can
Mhm.
be a lot. It can be a lot, but we know that God is going to see us through. And the seasons that are tough is just that. It's just a season.
Yeah.
Stand at the foot of the throne, and keep you on your knees and keep you in prayer, right?
Yes.
We know we're going to get through it, because
Yes.
God is not going to disappoint us in our faith walk, in our journey. We're doing the work,
Mhm.
raising our children, doing the best that we can do, right?
Right. Yes.
So before we go any further, I want to take a moment just to recognize our viewers who have chimed in. Thank you so much for tuning in to our Tuesday evening Blueprint for Success with the Build Your Best Life platform. Again, my name is Jocelyn, and I have my wonderful good friend, Miss Brady Robinson. We're discussing mothers raising sons. So, hello, Mr. Dan. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Sean Smith, good evening to you. Hello, Miss Agnes. Good evening. Good evening. I'm appreciative for all of you chiming in. Please make sure you give this live some likes and some hearts, and share with some loved ones, some mothers who may be going through this journey. If they have young sons, teenage sons, even if they have young adult sons, some of what we're sharing tonight is relatable to mothers in these three different phases of being moms raising sons. So thank you again for tuning in. So Brady, tell me, what unique strengths do mothers bring to raising sons in today's world?
So when we say unique strength, that's what I love because every mother has something different and unique to bring to the table, and we
Mhm.
all can learn from each other and learn something, right? So it's kind of like a buffet line. I can pick up from this person or this coworker, this friend. No, I may not want that. You can go through and pick and choose. So I love that. So for me to just kind of sit down and carve out my unique strengths, one was I believe that my son, a son being raised by a strong, caring, and consistent mother. There goes that word again, consistent. I think that is a underused, underappreciated word, but it's so valuable this day and time. Consistent mother can grow up with deep respect for women, not just in theory, but through lived experience. So I
Yeah.
think that's important because the whole respect for the woman, you're seeing that kind of less and less of these days, and you don't want that. Another unique strength that I would have to say was he sees and respects women as leaders and problem solvers, kind of breaking that traditional gendered stereotype.
Hmm.
Seeing the smarts, the brains, the things like that is so much more to it than just packing this lunch and doing the laundry, things like that. So I think that's important, and it's not highlighted, it's not shined upon. We don't get our credit at what we actually do, because when you think about it, we're like running a whole business here. I mean, we got to order the groceries, pay the bills, we got to keep the. I mean, we have a lot. It's like running a business, the CEO running the business, but we have no workers. So
Yes. Yes.
that's
We do
crazy.
everything. We play all the roles. We have
Right.
top of running the household.
Hmm.
We have to make sure we keep a watchful eye on our sons' mental state, their well-being, their emotions, giving them encouragement when they're feeling insecure or feeling down. And then one thing I learned is, I don't have the answer to everything, and that's okay.
Right.
That's okay. You made mention earlier about the male role models,
Hmm.
and it does shift as they
Hmm.
go through
Yeah.
different age periods in life, because everyone is willing and available. It seems like, I'm saying everyone, the designated individuals, the males that you allow to be a mentor to your
Mhm.
children. It's easier when they're younger,
It
and
is.
and it kind of gets challenging when they get to those 14 and 15-year-old years. Thank God I wasn't having any issues at those years, but I've seen through just other
Mhm.
mothers. Some kids are acting out, lashing out, hanging with the wrong crowd. And sometimes those mentors are hit and miss and not as available anymore all of a sudden.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Right?
and that's true. That's true. That's why I'm glad that there are areas and spaces such as this, because I wasn't prepared for that. I was blindsided by that. I didn't even think about the mentor or the male figures would fall off or shed or you would outgrow. I didn't think of it as a season, right? So I was kind of blindsided by that. And if you're not careful, you can feel like abandoned or hurt, or feel like, oh, what happened? I thought, and what it was, everything has a season. So I wasn't prepared for that. Nobody, think about it. Like I said, you tried to give me as much as you could, but you forgot to tell me that piece of it, Jocelyn, that it was going to that they were ready. They're not going to be the mentor forever, So, but I'm glad that's just a perfect example of what we were saying earlier. You cannot prefer anybody for everything. So I had to learn that. Oh yeah, well, duh, he doesn't even go to that school anymore. So what do you think? Or that was for the Boy Scouts, and he's out. He's aged out of that, or this. So you being open to realizing that, and then kind of blindsided me. So that was like, okay, definitely, oh, that was an unseen situation. So, but I rolled through it. The last unique strength that I was able to kind of narrow down was single mothers raising boys. They demonstrate perseverance. The time management is a little stronger because you gotta come on, we gotta do it. Unfortunately, that's their world, but I think it helps prepare them for the world. And adaptability, because you have to pivot. We may have to pivot. We were getting ready to go and the car won't start, so now we have to call Uber. I mean, we have to be able to
Ooh,
pivot and
yes.
shift, whatever, or call for a ride, or no, we can't do it. I think our sons absorb these qualities and learn by example, because men, they're usually more hands-on, and they will remember that day when they pushed me out the street to get gas. I mean, I'm just kidding. I'm just giving an example. But like, they remember those. This builds grit and problem solving skills in boys, I think. And from what I've seen, and it's showing what it means to push forward and face a challenge. So yeah, if your mom can do it, you can too. And you were right there with us to see how you got through it. We didn't just hit the challenge and just fall apart and stop at the challenge. We're talking about the challenge because it's in the past now.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, I had flashbacks when you talk about the car running out of gas. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I- I've I've been on the go so much where
Yeah.
I have passed the
Just
gas
forgot.
station. Needle was on E, and
Just not
next thing
even
I know,
thinking.
I'm entering the highway, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And for sure, I ran out of gas, and I didn't get
Just
very
not
far.
even thinking.
It's not even just on, I need to get the children here. I need to
Right.
get my son here. I need to get my daughter here. And
Mhm.
you get off work, you come home, change. I remember those days.
Yeah.
Change clothes, pee wee football practice, grab something to eat on the way home,
Yeah.
and then you about to choke them because you're trying to do homework,
Do
and they
all of that, and then
they're
you have the nerve to fuss about a test score. Well, you haven't even been at home to sit down and help with the homework. We're doing it in the car. I mean,
they're tired and you're tired. You're absolutely correct. But there go that thing with overcompensating.
yes.
Because did my son need to do pee wee football from flag football all the way to seventh grade? Did he have to do every single year, Jocelyn? But no, I thought I was doing the right thing.
Right, right.
I'm gonna
Keep them
take
busy,
him.
keep them
I'm gonna
active.
make sure he doesn't link up with the
Yeah.
wrong kids in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I raised my kids in the hood. We didn't
Yeah.
have any problems, but because we stayed gone all the time.
Right, right. We never there. Yes.
But
This
I
is so
felt it
good. You're
felt
so true.
like thing to do. But we had some very struggle years where I was on a thread, and through the
Hmm.
grace of God I survived until when the wall hit. But that was later in life. But
Right.
I realized it was just the loading of just loading from one season to another. But thank God for the lessons. Thank God I'm
Yes.
here, and I didn't lose my mind, and I'm
Right.
able to share and to be an example to you and other mothers that who are coming behind me raising sons and watching me go through it. Well,
Yeah.
I'm really, really enjoying this
Me
conversation.
too. Same. This
Amazing
is.
and amazing. So I want you to provide our audience with some tips on how single mothers can raise emotionally healthy, respectful young men, assisting them in building their best lives.
Let's see. Okay. So just a few tips. Let's see here. raised, we got to be emotionally healthy, respectful young men. Like it's so many things, and we try to hit all areas. But I think a loving structure teaches responsibility and respect for others. I do believe in be firm but fair. Always explain why rules matter. So that's totally different from my generation. I was not explained to us because I said so, I get it, but I understand that with this generation, and also for a male to receive the direction from this female, which is their mother, explain the rules why and the possible consequences that may occur. So I'm doing this because if you don't do this, or if you do this, you could end up here, or this could be a consequence. And I think consequences are very, very important, especially for our boys and our black boys. We need to talk about it. Another tip I would share would be I notice my son thrives when he knows what's expected. So
Mm.
just, and again, that's different for me. I wasn't told the family vacation plans until it's go pack your bag. We're going to grandmother. It's Friday. We leave. When you leave now? Okay, so wait. I'm like, so it was different for me, but I see that he thrives when he know what's expected, and knows that he's still loved when he mess up. So just, you have to discipline, you have to correct and things like that, but also let them know this, just because you made a mistake, I'm not just throwing you away. I say that because boys can be very hard on themselves because of that competitive nature. Um, another tip I would share is regularly speaking life into them. You are strong, you are intelligent, you are secure, you are confident, things like that. Speak it into it so much that it becomes your language, and every time you see them, you're giving them life. And I do believe in just speaking life into them. The life and death is in the power of the tongue. So we can either tear them down with our words, or we can build them up. And I had to learn that because I was a fussy mother, fussing. I had to realize, is this really what I want him to be accustomed to and to accept in his future? I think I find it important to let him know his value isn't based on his performance, but on his character and effort. Because again, they have that competitive nature. So long as you're winning or you're here, you feel value. But what about that day? It's always someone better than you. There's always someone better than you, stronger than you, faster than you. My son plays the trumpet. You may be here now, but what about when this that student transfer from another district and he's here? Don't go in the dumps, because your value is not based on your performance, but how's your character? What is your effort? Are you trying? So I think that's important, and that's a challenge, because of course that's mom trying to tell him that, oh, it's not all about winning, and he's like, you don't understand, I want to be first chair. So I
Mhm.
find that to be a struggle for both of us, but it works long as just keep pushing his, hey, it's not about, you are more than your trumpet. You are more than the activity, the extracurricular. I had just two more in it. I think was really, really important. A tip I would give a mother is seek trusted mentors, uncles, coaches, church leaders. Use your discernment, right? Use your discernment on that. Who can reflect strong, respectful masculinity? What is the fruit they are bearing? Let him see healthy manhood in action, right? Do community service, things like that. Just step out of your comfort zone and put them in spaces. We owe it to them to put them in spaces that are different from just the confines of our four walls. And
Yeah.
then, like, I mean, I don't you think I think that's really important, because all you know is here. But put them in spaces like Habitat for Humanity, where they get to go and help build a house for a day, drive a nail in, screws, things like that. And that's what I love about our church. We have a brother that showed him how to use a power drill. I don't know how to use it. I didn't even have one. So, I don't. And guess what? I ended up getting one. I still don't know how to use it, because he does everything around here with it, because of the
I
gentleman
love
at church that taught him how to do it. He would fix my fence and everything. So put
it.
them in spaces, right, where you can see masculinity and healthy manhood in action. I do believe that's important. And then lastly, expose him to risk possibilities beyond his immediate world. I mean, like, we do college tours. I suggest books, things like that. I just randomly think he wants to be an engineer. What are the different types of engineer? Keep his brain active, because they'll fall into the video games or doing what they want to do. But prospering at church and at home, community service, we're real big on the community service, because you have to serve. I do believe that as the children of the Most High God, you have to serve, and I think the serving keeps them humble, and also keeps teaches them that grit and that grit and that grind, and also gives them some appreciation. Community service is key. Give back, because it could be you. You never know when you have to be in that line or receiving that help, but I think just community service is a great tip to push for our mothers, for their sons. Get them in community service. Let them give back. It's not all about them. You have to give back and serve.
Those are some great points that you touched on, and I'm going to work backwards just a little bit on community service. That's awesome. We do need to teach our children and let them see us serving. And
Mhm.
I know your children and your son in particular have watched you serve in many different spaces, but it teaches them to have compassion and patience for others, and to not have such high expectations, give as far as get having grace for others, meeting people where they are, and that can be taught through servitude and can be learned and understood at a young age. They may not know how to articulate that and put that into words, but that's what that's teaching them. And you also talk about seek trusted mentors, which is very important because, again, we were talking about the different phases and mentorship that they go through as they go through
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
They made the mentor that was there for them when they were in elementary school is not going to be the same mentor for necessarily for middle
Yeah.
school or not
Correct.
necessarily for high school. And I was sharing on another broadcast that I made sure that my son knew four individuals that he can go to. His Boy Scout troop leader was one, and it was three other brothers at the church.
Mhm.
And I created that bond based on what those men shared about their life when they were teenagers. And
Mhm.
I said,
Mhm.
okay, they should be able to understand and be able to guide and direct. I'm like, I don't know what to do. When I didn't know what to do, I didn't fake it. I'm like, I don't know what to do. He's
Right,
going to
right.
this,
I'm
go
gonna
do
be
that.
honest with you. Help, help.
Brother so and so. This is what's
Right.
going on. Call them up and talk to them, or pull them to the side, and they would. And so it is a good thing to have multiple mentors, but definitely those you trust. So you gave some really good tips
Thank
about
you.
um, helping mothers raise emotional, healthy, respectful young men because
Yeah.
it's not an easy task, but it's
Right.
definitely doable. It's definitely
It
doable, and
is.
you do a great job. First of all,
Thank you.
let me go back and say you're doing a wonderful job with your children.
Thank you. You too, ma'am. Thank you.
Chance. He is in his thriving season. He's discovering himself and growing more confident. And it's been a pleasure. When I met him, he was just a little boy, and
I know.
now he's tall, and I see the fuzz around his lips, and girl, you got a little man on your hand, but
No,
you're
and the voice is changing, and the smiles are fading from the pictures. All
Oh yeah,
that.
it'll come back. That'll come back. It'll come back. I had that. I was like, "What is going on? Why you want to smile?" They think that makes them tough. That makes them look cool. But thank God that's just the season. I'm here to tell
Right,
you
right,
this.
right. Okay, okay, okay. Yes.
Don't worry. Don't fret. Don't worry.
Ooh.
So, Brittany, tell people and tell the audience what else you got going on. I know you're an author. I know you are a public speaker. Tell them a little more about yourself and how to get in touch with you if they want to reach out. What other things
Okay.
that you personally have going on?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so of course, if you guys would love to, I would love for you follow me on all social media, Brady Robinson. I am a published author for my book, Your Power Within. You have what it takes. It's on Amazon. You can reach out to me if you want a signed copy. Just I am a motivational speaker and a budget coach, finances and helping people learn how to live on their budget. That is just my love language. I like helping people with that and help you with your taxes. Anything financial to help you live the life that you desire. Um, right now, just continuing to strengthen my business and pouring into my business, which it is growing. Very grateful for that. and just keep trying to get through the Texas summer, which it hasn't been too bad, but this summer was really, really busy with camps for both kids, the girl and the boy. So just been running with that, but I'm still finding time to work in my craft and work in my business. And I love to be able to speak and pour into other people. And I love that. Just being able to help people learn and how to take control of their finances really is my passion.
Okay.
Mm.
That is wonderful. You're finding your harmony.
Yeah,
You're
the
finding your
rhythm.
spot. Yeah, your rhythm and handling it all, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Great job. Well, it was a pleasure to share the platform with you tonight and to hear from you and share your nuggets about raising sons. And I look forward to having you back on again for Blueprint for Success. And I hope and pray everything goes well in your business ventures. You've always been sharp in that area, so I look forward to see where you're going next.
Thank you so much. This has truly been a pleasure. I really enjoyed this tonight. I think this was like I said, a dynamic duo, a perfect duo. Thank you. I've learned so many tips from you for as parenting, everything, and love, and very proud of the work that you're doing in your business. So iron sharpens iron, and for such a time as this, we've been rocking for a long time. So this was like home. I mean, tonight's show, I'm so happy to be considered to be a guest on Build Your Best Life. I always want to accept the invitation when I am available. And hey, this is home for me. So thank you guys, and thank you for having me tonight.
Okay. Well, thank you again to all the audience for tuning in tonight. Again, make sure you like or give some hearts to this live and share this with some mothers who can use some encouraging words and let them know they are not alone in this journey. And please stay plugged into the Build Your Best Life platform. And we are going to sign out. And I hope each and every one of you had a wonderful night. Thank you.